Song from channel Gamja Collection. Today, I'm reporting a statistic report. Is the mean heart rate of moderate smokers higher as compared to non-smokers? You know the answer later. I'll now introduce myself again. I'm the sexy free and single capsule. Why did we choose this research question? My group chose this research question because we feel that this topic is of interest. There are a lot of moderate smokers around us these days, and it is a pressing issue regarding everyone's health. Be it first-hand smokers or second-hand smokers. We want them to see that the mean heart rate for moderate smokers is higher as compared to non-smokers. Because it has been known that a person with high resting heart rate is at risk for heart disease. Also, an increase in resting heart rate over time may actually place a person at a greater risk for dying from heart disease. Heart is one of the most important organs in our entire body. It pumps blood which carries all the vital materials which help our bodies function and removes the waste products that we do not need. A healthy heart has a lower heart rate than a heart that is unhealthy. And we are curious to see how much the mean heart rate will be affected by smoking. From research, we found that chemicals in tobacco smoke harm blood cells. They also can damage the function of the heart and the structure and function of blood vessels. This increases risk of atherosclerosis, which is a disease where plaque builds up in the arteries. Over time, plaque hardens, and this limits the flow of oxygen-rich blood to the organs and the other parts of the body. This will lead to a higher heart rate because cardiac output is decreased and the heart has to pump more times in order to provide sufficient oxygenated blood around the body. We chose moderate smokers because they are the majority among the other types of smokers. Therefore, if we are able to identify the risk factor, which is the higher heart rate, we are able to help the majority. We chose non-smokers to use as a contrast by showing how the heart rate differs, so to prove that not smoking will lead them to have healthier hearts due to lower heart rate. According to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, 128,497 people die annually from cardiovascular diseases through cigarette smoking. Thus, if smokers do not take good care of their heart, they might get certain heart diseases and even death, which is why, for the sake of the health of moderate smokers, we find that it is interesting to do this research and educate them on the health of their hearts. Our research question indicates that we think that the mean heart rate of moderate smokers is higher than the mean heart rate of non-smokers. This is because through research, we found that smoking causes coronary heart disease as cigarette smoking causes reduced circulation by narrowing blood vessels called arteries. This means that the heart is required to pump harder and more frequently in order to circulate the sufficient oxygenated blood around the body. Thus, we think that the mean heart rate of moderate smokers is more likely to be higher than the mean heart rate of non-smokers. Independent variables are non-smokers and moderate smokers, while our dependent variable is mean heart rate. The sample data given to us is regarding the heart rate of non-smokers and moderate smokers. We were given 49 sets of data for the heart rate for non-smokers and 50 sets of data for the heart rate of moderate smokers. With this data, my group compared the difference in heart rate for non-smokers and moderate smokers respectively. We analysed both of them and these are our results. Our hypothesis: mu1 minus mu2 is less than or equal to 0, which means that the mean heart rate of moderate smokers is not higher than non-smokers, and mu1 minus mu2 is more than 0, which means that the mean heart rate of moderate smokers is higher than the mean heart rate of non-smokers. Step 1 error is to conclude that the mean heart rate of moderate smokers is higher than non-smokers, when actually the moderate smoker has the same heart rate or lower heart rate than the non-smoker. Possible consequence: this might give one the wrong idea that smoking causes increased mean heart rate, where moderate smokers might have a higher chance of getting diseases such as heart attack and high blood pressure as compared to a non-smoker. This may alert moderate smoker to stop smoking and prevent non-smoker to start smoking, which might affect the cigarette companies due to a drop in the purchases. Is to conclude that the mean heart rate of moderate smokers is equal to or not higher than non-smokers, when actually moderate smoker has a heart rate higher than non-smoker. Possible consequence. This might give one the wrong idea that smoking will not increase heart rate. The moderate smoker will think that he or she will not have a higher chance of getting the disease related to increased heart rate, such as high blood pressure and heart attack, as compared to a non-smoker. This might cause a non-smoker to start smoking or prevent a moderate smoker not to quit smoking, which is definitely bad for their health, as smoking has other harmful effects too. From previous research, we have found that there are many health diseases such as high blood pressure and heart attack related to increased heart rate. Weighing personal health and the profits of cigarette companies, we believe that our health is more important. Thus, after comparing, we think that the consequences of type 2 error is more severe as compared to type 1 error. Hence, we decide to have our level of significance to be alpha 10%. Our variances. We performed a two-tailed F test at alpha 5% to check our variances using the critical value method and the p-value method. And we found out that our variances are equal. Therefore, since sigma 1 squared equals to sigma 2 squared, which leads to sigma 1 squared divided by sigma 2 squared, which is equal to 1, we use case 2 where sigma 1 is equal to sigma 2 and is also equal to unknown. And we use t with the degree of freedom of n1 plus n2 minus 2. Performed a right-tail t-test at alpha 10% to check our means using two independent samples designed with case 2 where we have an unknown and equal standard deviations. We used the critical value method and the p-value method and found out whether or not to reject the null hypothesis where the mean heart rate of moderate smokers is equal to or not higher than non-smokers. In conclusion, the test is not significant because the null hypothesis is not rejected. Therefore, this test shows that moderate smokers does not have higher mean heart rate than non-smokers. Our confidence interval is This is our lower bound 90% confidence interval with mu1 minus mu2 is more or equal to negative 2.84. Hence, we found out that the heart rate of moderate smokers is less than non-smokers by 2.84 or less heartbeats per minute. Our power. After finding out the power of the test, we found out that our sample size is insufficient to get our desired power of 90%. Since the power of our test is only 70%, we require a minimum sample size of 197, which can make our test more accurate. Conclusion, in conclusion, the heart rates of non-smokers is not lower as compared to the heart rates of moderate smokers. In fact, the mean heart rate of moderate smoker is lesser than non-smoker by 2.84 BMP or less. However, this might be because our sample size is insufficient for more accurate result, as we need a minimum of 197. Also, we can make the experiment more accurate if we can limit factors such as the non-smoker and moderate smoker should not have diseases that might increase their heart rate, such as high blood pressure and heart disease. By doing so, we can make our test more accurate and the result we obtain might be different. Thus, a further study needs to be done to confirm on whether moderate smokers has a higher heart rate than non-moderate smokers. This will be the end of our news from channel Gamja Collection, and this is